Hey guys, this is Matthew Perdie with Breitbart News. We are here at Round the Clock Diner, which is a diner that is still open and still seating people in the midst. Actually, it reopened, I believe, on Mother's Day, in defiance of the shutdown order by Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf. Round the Clock Diner is in York, Pennsylvania. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in and talk to the owner and a representative that was in Harrisburg today at the protest to protest the shutdown order. So I'm going to go inside and talk to these gentlemen. So you see, everything is still operational. People are still enjoying their food. People are seated.
That was really nice of him.
When did your business start?
My business, I've been in a business for 52 years. I'm 80 years old and I'm still working. What is the justice in that? And they tried to shut me down because I'm trying to do the best, the best I can. We running the business very clean. It's anyone can think very, very clean restaurant. And they tried to tell us you have to close down, and that's not right. A lot of people come in. Every customer comes in and say, "Thank you for opening. Thank you for opening. We're not going to be a prisoner anymore. We're not going to be a prisoner anymore." Only in the communist countries they do that.
Yes, and so you were telling me earlier that you immigrated from Greece. Can you tell us about your experience there?
Well, if I can tell you, I live under the Germans. The Germans burned my hometown to the ground at that time. I remember the Germans. Even when I was little, they played the records, and I was listening to the. I saw many things that I don't know if I can say. I saw chopped heads, they line them up. Things that I, just as a little kid, I remember, and it's just like I saw it yesterday. But the main thing here is that we try to operate normal. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're running the business every other table. They clean the tables, and we serve it with gloves. I mean, the cleanest possible way that anybody can think. And they tried to shut us down, and that's wrong.
Have they come in and tried to shut down your business in person yet?
They didn't get to the point yet. I hope the governor can think more than once, because he's local too. And I heard that his business running, and he tried to shut us down. I don't know all the legal things, and I'm not an attorney. I'm just working.
And so, what inspired you to open back up in the midst of the shutdown and stand up against Tom Wolf's order?
Well, at the beginning we had to carry out, the procedure that we carry out and all, and we decide to, after we had a meeting with Mike Jones, the state representative, and we all agree that we're going to open up. And what happened, I was out in the field. I opened up myself. Nobody followed. I'm in the field just by myself to support me. But I'm still standing and I think I just follow what's right.
And if you had the opportunity to speak with Tom Wolfe today, right now, what would you say to him?
I would tell him that let the people open up, operate, forget the politics. Let it put that in the side, the politics. We all Americans.
And what is your take on the stand-down order? I mean, on a lot of businesses right now that feel like they cannot open up. What would be your message to other restaurant owners or other businesses in Pennsylvania right now?
I wish they can follow I paved the way, and they didn't follow that. So I hope everyone can open up, and we're going on in our business.
And Representative, tell us about why you're here today.
Well, we had the Reopen Pennsylvania rally that I spoke at in Harrisburg earlier today, and a lot of the folks in Harrisburg were well aware in the crowd of what's going on here with Mr. Sacarellos' lead at Round the Clock Diner. Encouraged many of them to come down and have a meal, which a lot of them did. I'm here to support Mr. Sacarellos. I've eaten here 3 times in the last 4 days. This is just outside my district, but I'm one of the state representatives here. And the big message here in Pennsylvania that we tried to deliver today is that we now have the moral high ground. We crossed a tipping point a couple weeks ago. You know, we had I'm going to call it an agreement, unspoken agreement with the governor, business owners like Mr. Sacarellos and others, that yes, we'll go along with this shutdown for a month or so, despite the fact we closed many businesses in Pennsylvania that never should have been closed. Construction, car sales, real estate, all of which are still pretty much shut down, which is why we have double the national unemployment here. So now we're paying that consequence. But we're going into 3 months. So something that makes a little bit of sense for 1 month makes no sense for 2 months and is absolutely devastating for 3 months. And there's no end in sight. We don't have any message of hope. So my message is Tom Wolfe is not the enemy. Fear is the enemy. And it's time for the people to stand up and take back their state and their country.
And do you feel like, from your standpoint, you're very concerned about the economy, and even, I would imagine, there are health consequences in that respect as well. How much of an impact do you think the fear will have even after Pennsylvania and other states open up?
Well, I'm very concerned, and I spent my whole career in business. I'm actually new to politics, sort of a second career at the age of 50 years old here. But I don't think we've seen the worst of this yet. As I said, we are projecting, there's studies here in York, Pennsylvania, that as many as 20 to 40% now of the businesses that closed will never reopen or may reopen and fail. I think we're looking at a couple of years potentially to get back to where we were because of fear. But also, a lot of businesses have cash flow issues. You've got a lot of folks that are just not going to come back in business because it's too much hassle for them. We're going to be reaping the consequences of this, I fear, for a long time. And I think we're going to look at double-digit unemployment for quite a while. And a lot of the folks that think this is a good thing now are going to be, I think they're going to be singing a different tune in a couple of months. And we're already seeing that tide start to shift as well. As I said, we have the moral high ground here.
And so, if you would, could you compare what you're seeing in Pennsylvania to other states and how they're handling the shutdown and comparative numbers?
Yeah, that's quite relevant, and I'll let you speak. So there's a real 2 key points there, and ironically, it may ultimately be Maryland and Ohio, maybe even New York. Most of these places, I said, there was industries that never. We had people going from Pennsylvania to buy automobiles in Maryland, for example. We're near the southern border here, but those states are going to put the pressure on us to come back. And I do want to say, be it to President Trump, Senator McConnell, Speaker Pelosi, all the folks in Washington, the worst thing you can do for Pennsylvania is to bail out us and the other states. As bad as it is, this is a great opportunity for us to get our financial house in order and to pass much-needed, long-overdue legislation to make us stronger and more competitive. We will emerge stronger than ever, but the bailout, a federal bailout, will only hinder that. Is the worst thing that could happen to us long-term. So, sir. Okay.
Well, we have 150 people working in it for the restaurant, and let them come to work. They wanted to come to work, but they give us a green light, and that's what we need. Okay, so we tried the best way that everybody's safe. I was at the farmers market, and I saw one on top of the other. You know, so close. But here we have the tables separate, and we have the best way that nobody can be affected. You know, we clean the tables, we serve them with gloves, we do the best we can. So, what else do we do? Please, let us go. Let us open up. Put the green light.
And your employees, they must be very appreciative. How have the conversations been with them? Are they fearful of the virus at all?
With the customers?
The customers, well, not the customers, but the employees.
No. They're here. They all wear gloves and masks. They all know what to do. They super good. I mean, it can't be any better. You can go back there and check everybody. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very, very clean.
And how do you feel, in your opinion, someone who's experienced communism, how do you feel about how Tom Wolf is doing compared to the other governors, in your opinion?
Well, I don't see this state is moving forward fast enough compared to the other states. I don't know what it is. Is that it? Try to save lives or play politics? That goes through my mind. And they know better than I do.
And how do you feel President Trump is handling the crisis?
I think he's doing an excellent job. If we had this problem with the previous administration, the way the economy was down, we would have been in a hell of a bad shape at this point.
If you had the chance to speak with President Trump, what would you say to him?
Just keep up in a good work. That's all I can tell him. You know, he has he has a full plate at this point.
Do you have any concerns that people being afraid to come to this restaurant or anywhere, any restaurant, would hurt business potentially in the future, even after the shutdown ends?
I really don't know, but we have a lot of customers, and everyone comes in the door and say thank you for opening. But not only that, they give us money, $50, $100. I said, I don't need money. I just pay for your meal. That's all I need. That's all I want you to do, so that I can pay my people. But besides that, we're not open just because we need the money. We didn't change the prices for 11 and a half years. We kept the prices 11 and a half years. We didn't touch the prices. So we're not looking for money. We're looking for money to pay the bills and support our families. That's about it.
Yes, I heard earlier that you actually pay your waiters and waitresses quite a bit compared to a lot of other places.
Yes, we do.
You want to talk about that?
Yes. Well, the waitress is making about $3.25. That's that area. I'm not sure in that area. But we pay them $14 an hour at this point, so they can make some money. To, encourage them to bring them in, to come in to work. And that's all we can do. They come here to work and to support their family.
And can you tell us about the safety procedures that you guys have taken a little bit more in depth, just in the midst of this crisis?
Oh my God, they wash their hands, put the gloves, masks, everything, the safety procedures that the best you can find. We're in a hospital here.
And going back to your experiences in the past, do you think that your experiences, outside of America, have informed your current actions with standing up against a stand-down order in any way, shape, and form?
Say that again.
Oh yeah. Do you believe that your experiences in the past have had any impact on your decision to reopen in the midst of all this?
Well, we at the beginning we just thought, well, that is that we have to follow the order, and we stay closed for so long. But then we had a meeting with a lot of people, and Mike Jones, and we had a meeting, which is a state representative, and I told them at the meeting that I'm going to open up for Mother's Day, and I did, and I thought people were going to follow me, but a lot of people seems like they're afraid. But I didn't back down. I'm still operating, and I will continue.
And why
Be open.
Why didn't you back down?
Why? Because I didn't think that I was doing anything wrong. I was working. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't do any crime. I served the people who wanted to come to the restaurant and sit down like regular people, because they got locked down for so long, like inside, I should say. Now they wanted to come out to eat. They love our place, and that's what I did. That I didn't think I did anything wrong, and I still believe that.
May I add something quickly to that? We had 100, to your point, we had 150 business owners come out, just word of mouth, 2 days notice last week. We met last Saturday. We'll be meeting again. I'm still optimistic that many of them are going to follow Mr. Sacarellos' lead. We've seen progress with barbershops and salons, for example. But a couple big takeaways here. I can't, as a public official, we're certainly not saying, we're not telling people to defy an order. But understand, the states and the cities, a lot of these governors and mayors that are doing a lot of chest thumping and sending a lot of warnings, they are largely toothless lions. They are broke because they have brought this on themselves. They are and will continue to be desperately in need of tax dollars. They are not going to be shutting down businesses en masse, nor do they have the horses to get out there and enforce these regulations. And lastly, the big takeaway, certainly here in Pennsylvania, is that the licensures, I think we estimate somewhere between 20 and 25% of our workforce depends on licensed operations. So we've got everything licensed here: barbers, car dealers, obviously liquor licenses. Businesses, those were never intended to hold entire industries hostage for prolonged periods of time. So that's the huge takeaway here. That's the main obstacle keeping people to come back. There's some other concerns with employees. The $600 extra needs to be phased out quickly. And insurance and so forth are issues. But the big thing are these licensures that states are holding over people's heads with this irrational fear. And that has got to change going forward, because it's criminal what has happened to a lot. It's not as bad in the restaurant business, but licenses were never, as I said, intended to hold people hostage. And I think that's a big concern for many of them. But your leadership has been nothing short of phenomenal, you and your sons. Huge round of applause for you and your business in Harrisburg today. And as I've put on Facebook, you're my newest hero, and I certainly I can't say enough good things about
I can't back down. I don't do anything. I haven't done anything wrong. All right, you can drop me in the middle of the ocean. I'll survive.
I love that. Yeah. Based on what you're telling me, that they don't have a lot of the resources to enforce this in certain areas, perhaps, are the governor's threats empty threats to a certain extent?
Well, ultimately it's self-fulfilling, right? If only a couple of people go out there, then they can pick them off one or two at a time. We're sending the message that there's strength in numbers. The businesses have gone above and beyond. The people have gone above and beyond. As I said earlier, we are clearly now, no one's dismissing COVID. We have said we want to protect the elderly, especially nursing homes, those that have illnesses, the most vulnerable. The way we do that is for those of us that are relatively younger or stronger in your case, to get out there take measured risks like we do every day in life, build herd immunity, and protect the most vulnerable. But people have to stick together. So I think that they will definitely be empty threats if people rise up en masse in a safe way, professional way, okay, and say enough's enough, because there's going to be no business left to protect.
Oh, absolutely.
And so they're going to. I'm concerned they're going to look back in a couple of months and say, what did we do? And we have crossed the tipping point. To be clear, we are destroying far more lives than COVID ever will at this point. Between suicide and overdose and divorce and mental illness and physical ailments that are going untreated, cancer screenings that have been delayed. The list goes on. Child abuse, we're very concerned about that being unreported. So please understand, this is not profit over people. We believe firmly that we crossed the tipping point and we now firmly have the moral high ground. I think you agree with that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I just, it's a time to let it go, let the politics on the side, and let the people work. Because the country is turning into more like a communist system here. And I know better than communist system. I live in those days.
And could you tell us a little bit about what you experienced in communism and how it relates to today?
The communism. I don't know how to can start to tell you. I have seen in my life a lot, and when the American people don't even know, Russia took over. It was coming down. The eastern countries, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Albania, and the other countries. And coming down, they grabbed everything, and it came down to Greece. But guess what? The American came in and back him. Yeah, the American came in and helped us out, and Russia didn't take over Greece. A lot of American people don't even know that. I do. I lived those days. I was there.
What was that like for you?
Well, it was a lot of crime. A lot of, like I said to you, it was a lot of. I don't know if I can say that.
It was brutal. I guess would suffice.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brutal. I mean, oh my God.